Welcome back to Lost in Theaters, the podcast where we talk about movies that have slipped through the cracks of pop culture. My name is Rachel, and I'm here with my beloved sister,
Snap,
Ruth.
crackle, pop.
That's 3 sisters. Excuse you very much. No, Sister Urval.
That's not my name.
Yes, per
No.
usual. We're here. And so, do you know what this Saturday is, Ruth?
It is National Ballet Day. No,
Is
it's
it
not.
really?
Is it? Wait, no, Thursday. Thursday is National Ballet Day,
Good.
I think. It's this week. I'm excited.
It's not Friday,
I'm not
suspect.
a ballerina.
Are you sure? You seem very informed.
Well, my teacher was excited.
Yes.
I'm taking a class.
This
is completely off topic.
I'm refraining
Let us
from
return
asking
immediately.
what happens on National Ballerina Day around the world.
Ballet Day.
Ballet Day.
There's
You
a
think
performance and everyone watches it and all kinds of stuff. La la la.
that sounds really exciting? No. In other news, so Friday is the 30th.
Oh, it's the end.
So
Rachel, it's the end.
the 31st of what month is it?
October?
October. What is the 31st of October?
Is Mandalorian soon?
It is.
Mandalorian's on the 30th.
I'm
excited about the 30th.
We're all excited for the Mandalorian.
I'm sorry, none of these are the answers you want.
Halloween!
Oh. I like All Saints Day.
I like All Saints Day too.
That's when all the dead come back.
Thanks, sister.
Just kidding.
No, I like All. It's our grandfather's birthday. Is All Saints Day.
Isn't that November 1st?
Yeah. So Halloween is the day before All Saints
so
Day.
I'm not great with time. Let's just nail that down.
Okay.
Halloween! Hooray!
It's really great. We're all really excited.
Do we celebrate Halloween?
We don't. We tend not to. We just didn't when we were kids. Remember that time I
Oh,
did
yeah.
dress up once?
There was no actual protest. It was just
No, we just didn't really do it.
we did fall in costumes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was fun. Remember that one time though when I was randomly wearing
This is
clothing?
way off topic.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
You've taken us, but it's not super off topic because we are talking about Halloween.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Halloween episode.
It is.
Oh!
Hooray!
I've always wanted to do one of those.
It's a great idea. And see, the thing about Halloween movies is what, Ruth? Often they're just super alarming, right?
Oh.
I feel like because everyone's into the whole, demons and pumpkins and
Possessed nuns.
the whole 9 yards.
Possessed nuns.
So,
There was a show.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So, no, this one, I saw this movie and I looked just at the description briefly, and it was set on Halloween, and I was like,
nice.
"This is perfect." Are you ready for the title?
No, but go for it.
Bees Make Honey.
So it was a complete fluke that I brought up bees.
I know!
That was just.
It was really weird. I was like, how did she know? This one's called Bees Make Honey. It was made in 2017.
This can only end terribly.
Really?
Oh, is it not?
Well, just, I don't understand. This was a great movie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Sounds creepy?
No, that's the thing. It's set on Halloween, and it's a mystery.
I really thought you were, building up to say, and it's creepy.
No.
Okay.
That's what the thing is. It's sometimes you don't want to watch a scary movie on Halloween. You just want to watch, a movie that's Halloweenish.
Gotcha.
Like
Christmas movies.
Yeah. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. In that it's set around Christmas time.
I feel like I have a lot of confessions about what I've never watched.
I've never watched Die Hard.
Okay.
I just know that about Die Hard.
I don't even know what it's about.
It's about a mall.
I feel nothing, actually.
So the director of this movie is a fellow named Jack Eve. And here's the kicker. The lead actress of the movie's name is Alice Eve, and one of the supporting actors is Trevor Eve.
Family project.
Yeah, it's a labor of love by the whole family, actually. It turns out, from what digging I did, the director had the idea, Jack Eve, and his sister is Alice Eve, and their father is Trevor Eve.
Oh, got dad involved.
Yeah,
Dang.
and apparently it was loads of fun and very intense, but they had a ball.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it was a good thing. It's so it's a mystery set on Halloween. And yeah, so for starters, let's visit the Chaucer scale.
Oh.
So the Chaucer scale,
It's back.
we're gonna say PG-13 is about a 6 on the Chaucer scale, okay? Is what I'll...
Oh, we're not just inserting literary people?
Well,
authors?
this time we're doing something different again.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I don't quite know how to... Yeah, so 6 is about a PG-13 on the Chaucer scale, okay? And so this...
That seems a little high.
Well, this in America would probably be an 8. But
What?
in England, it would be like a 5. Because it's British.
Where is Chaucer on the Chaucer scale?
Oh, that's a good question. Chaucer is probably is 6. I say.
For those of you who have read any Chaucer,
I don't know actually. No, Chaucer's probably maybe more of an 8. No.
I feel like I really succeeded in derailing you this episode.
You have. I just am. I'm turpentining all around.
Wow. So what were we talking about?
The Chaucer scale.
Yes.
So
6 in U.S.
5.
No.
8 in the U.S. 5 in England, because just the way that they treat profanity in this, there's not it's British, so their sensibility about cursing is just slightly different.
I feel like I need it to be made known that I was applying the Chaucer scale purely to raunchy things.
And that's the thing. Actually, that's why I had to bring this in and clarify all these things.
I feel enlightened.
So does that mean we need a different scale for profanity?
Yeah, Shakespeare.
Oh, okay. What is Shakespeare on the Shakespeare scale?
10.
Really?
It's everywhere.
You think
and
so?
It's subtle, and it's like line after line after line.
And in French. Yeah, no, okay. So then it's probably maybe an 8. It isn't on the Shakespeare scale because it isn't incessant.
Okay.
It isn't as though the only thing they ever say are profanities.
Yeah.
There's particular characters who tend one particular
the
character
will cuss you out.
who tends toward profanity, and the profanity isn't just
gratuitous.
Well,
okay,
it is,
never mind.
but it isn't like hell or
What?
Hell is often used as a profanity, isn't it?
I couldn't tell if you were using it as a word or like describing the situation.
I'm trying. I'm trying so hard for not
Gold
to
star.
accidentally swear. I don't accidentally swear. It just okay. So it one character in particular tends toward the more severe side of profanity. But literally, I don't think anyone else says a cuss word. Oh, no, I think it's just her. Who, and they do it in a very British way, which means that it's,
Is this a British film?
it is a British film. I
Good
tried
to
to
know.
say that.
Oh.
It's a British mystery movie.
That went over my head.
Yeah, sorry. And so it's sort of this, not pervasive, sort of like tapestry, like drapery, that's the word I'm looking for, where the profanity sort of hangs there, and you notice it, but at the same time you don't.
Cool.
What I'm trying to say is it doesn't detract terribly from the film. This character's use of profanity, it just, as opposed to a movie that it would normally be PG-13, I felt like I should bring it up because it is a little more on.
What is its rating, incidentally?
I couldn't find one.
What year was it made?
2017.
Oh, you said that already.
Yeah.
Unrated?
It was kind of weird. It was sort of, yeah.
Where did you find this movie?
I found it on Hulu.
Oh.
And it didn't really have one. Maybe I just missed it. I did look on multiple sites for things. Yeah.
I'd help you with research, but then I know what was going on.
Exactly, Ruth. You're not allowed to know. Apparently, so the movie was, because it is a British film, like it's made by British people in England kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is a, what am I looking for, Ruth? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, it was a little more popular in England. So I think it is a little more well known across the pond than it is here.
Pond.
A
Squishy,
pond. It was made on a budget. This was kind of bizarre to me. Of like $650,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is not a lot of money.
No.
And actually, it's a period piece. It's set in the 1930s. And when I found that out, I was so impressed because it looks amazing. It's very,
really,
yeah, it's a period drama, and so everything is in its setting.
Well, I want to watch this.
Okay, yes. Now, before we get too excited about a period drama mystery, okay, so you know Knives Out, the Knives Out vibes, right?
Yeah, they're okay.
So, like, mystery, it's a great mystery, except now cross it with what we told you about, oh no, what's that movie called? Hot Rod.
Which one was that?
The one about the daredevil.
Oh.
So what we told you about that comedically, and sort of like Wes Anderson.
What is this?
Where it'll just sort of...
What Frankenstein's monster is this?
There will be... The screen actually changes size when you watch it.
What?
Because certain things are filmed differently.
They just had fun.
They had so much fun. And the music, Ruth, is bizarre. Because again, period drama, some of it's period music. And then suddenly it isn't. Suddenly it's 80s music randomly inserted. And on top of that, certain parts of it are so theater, it's ridiculous. It's as though they're filming a stage.
Whoa.
So it's all over the place in style and music. Yes, one last note about appropriateness for children. Cocaine is a thing, and people use it in this movie.
Noted.
Just throwing that out there. Drug use happens. So be prepared for that.
Do you have any quality comments you want to make?
About...
Or moral comments?
Do I want to say that cocaine could ruin your life? I've said it, folks. It's bad for your brain. It's bad for your body. Don't do it.
You have done zero drug research, haven't you?
No, Ruth, I haven't. Oh, you're just... Yeah. But yes, it's old-timey and feeling until it isn't.
Sounds good.
It's very eclectic in its taste. I had a friend the other day, we were talking about surrealism, and I think it's not quite surrealism because no one turns into a cockroach, but it's like borderline surrealist. It's the classic, Kafka is the classic surrealist art piece.
Kafka?
I think.
I feel like I know who you're talking about.
He turns into a cockroach. It's very dramatic.
No kidding.
Bizarre, yeah.
Well, I think that's enough intro for me.
Okay. Yeah, so, the low spoilers. This is the basic premise of the movie. The plot basically is that, a year ago, since there's a party on Halloween, and this woman has a party every Halloween. Last Halloween party, her husband was murdered. So this Halloween, she tries to get all the same people back at the party. She does successfully get all the same people back at the party.
Because they're not going to notice that.
No, she does. Nobody notices. She gets all the same people back at the party and invites a cop to come to come, and then they solve the mystery.
Nifty.
It's also timey-wimey weird. So you see things out of order.
Okay.
For example, the opening scene, which we're in the low spoiler section, so opening scene is okay. The opening scene is the middle of the party, and then the first scene is actually the beginning of the movie.
Cool. But no one's like Merlining through the picture.
No one's what?
Merlining?
Do you mean...
Oh, young backwards through time.
Oh, no.
Like, Doctor Who, what's her name?
Yes, River.
Yeah, not River.
Oh.
No one's rivering.
No one's rivering.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all pretty chill on that front. But it is...
Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. More questions, concerns, comments?
Yeah, cockroach, what?
Oh, that has nothing to do with the movie.
Okay, cool.
Bees, Ruth. Bees make honey.
Oh, right, bees. Bees has something to do with this.
They all wear costumes, so it's kind of fun.
The bees all wear costumes.
I see how you could have gotten that impression. No, it's a Halloween party, so everyone is in costume. The people are.
None of the bees wear costumes.
The main character's name is Honey, and she's dressed as a bee.
Oh.
Yes.
Like the coupons.
Like Honey, the coupon.
If we were sponsored, that would be perfect spot for that.
Good job,
However,
Ruth.
we are not sponsored.
That's right. Honey, reach out if you're interested. Honey? Honey, where are you? It's just
that got weird.
It's such a name. It's worth saying. Okay. Yeah.
I think that was our shortest light spoilers yet.
Yeah, I think so. But it was basically just sort of, the mood. You have to be in to watch this movie.
Oh yeah.
Which I realized we'll just sort of, this is all general introductory material. It's definitely a Halloween movie, so you could watch it on Halloween and be content. But it isn't a scary movie, so it's not jumping. You don't jump at all in that way. It isn't. It is a mystery, so you can be in the mystery mood, and that could be fun. Like I said, it's surrealist and weird. So if you're in the mood to watch a Wes Anderson movie, you could watch this one too.
How involved are the drugs in this?
The drugs. It was weird because I didn't think they would be that involved, and then they turned out to be crucial.
You say these concerning things, and I don't know how to respond to that.
I wasn't sure.
Like, in theory, that usually disqualifies this movie for a lot of people.
Oh. I mean, insofar as, like, there's a lot of TV shows today where there's, like, the cops have to get the drugs
so, like,
out
the
of
people
a
are
place.
Dependent on it and it's a good thing, or, like, crucial to plot development?
It's crucial to plot development, and it's a bad thing.
Okay.
So in no way is it a good idea.
I was trying to figure out.
Okay. In no way does it, like, say drugs are a good thing. All the characters you're supposed to like don't do drugs.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's nice. Yeah, so they're not pro drugs. Stay in school, kids. Don't do drugs, stay in school, right? That's the motto of I Can Do This. It's not be smart. It's dare.
You were talking to yourself. Okay.
It was that 90s middle school campaign, Dare.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that has political background. That's really disturbing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Back to the movie.
The idea is nice, but...
Right. Okay, so back to the movie, though. Yes. It isn't necessarily a comfortable movie. It is, so don't be as though, it's not, unlike Harvey, it's pretty much the opposite of Harvey, I would say. It's a little more, it's uncomfortable but in the way that it draws you in and makes you want to be, like, on the adventure.
Psychologically disturbing, or the filming style
is jarring? Style is jarring.
Okay.
Point A. Point B, the plot is wild. Point C, but at the same time, it's not an action film, so it doesn't draw you in with its spectacle in that way. It draws you in with its, like, what?
Any resemblance to a telenovela?
None.
Cool.
Didn't think that at all when I watched it. Although it is high strung, I would say, like a golden retriever. Which I've never understood that, but I feel like people say that golden retrievers are high strung.
Let it be known, I have never heard that expression.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know where I heard that, but I heard it somewhere. And and yeah, so it's very high strung. It reaches a point, the first half of the film is very, like, and then the second half of the film is very, like, so there is a tone change, but you do have to get through that.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to participate in that. Yeah.
Which one was that?
That was the first half.
Okay.
And then the second half.
I hear it.
Yeah.
I had to compare them, but
yeah. I'm glad. Are you ready? Should we go through it?
Yeah.
Full spoilers, here we go!
Somehow I'm just never ready for any of your transitions.
I wasn't ready for that one either, personally.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Here we go.
It opens with a conga line at a Christmas party. At a Halloween party. And, it's clearly a crazy party. They're all in very gaudy uniforms.
Have you been to a crazy party?
Never. I don't think I've ever been to a crazy party. They're not gaudy uniforms. And that's the word. It is gaudy, but it's costumes. I'm like, something's wrong about what I've just said. What is it? It's the word uniform. They're in gaudy costumes.
Okay.
Very excessive. And it's dark and, but it's also dim and you can see things and there's music. And then this cowboy runs up to the line and he says, "Has anyone seen Honey? Does anyone know where Honey is?" And nobody answers and he goes off. And then, that's right.
Has anyone seen the bee?
And then,
Honey.
no. And then he goes up. Oh yeah. Then he goes outside. He goes onto this patio and he's looking out and around. And then you see this shadow. You're just looking at the shadows, and then these shadows come up and beat him up. And you think, this cowboy's been beat up, and you're shocked, and it's crazy. And then it goes, doo, 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 and those are all little signs that peer up at those sounds. Doo, 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 that says, "Bees make honey." What?
This is so much weirder than that bug movie.
Turns out this is set Halloween 1934. And then it says this is based on true events. More on that later.
Laughed at that.
No, I dug into this because I'm like, how can you say this is based on true events? I'm confused, but I figured out what that's talking about. So stay tuned, folks. Now then, you follow a woman in yellow going, and she opens the door, and at the door there's a man.
That's the extent of her costume?
No, she's got stripes. I was disappointed by the bee costume as well. There's someone who's a gazelle, and she has these really great hair horns. She just did her hair
costumes.
in horns, and the bee was strangely lacking.
Huh.
I don't know. Everyone else had very kind of intricate costumes. And I was like, okay, well,
she's hosting.
Yeah. The person at the door is Inspector Trudeau, who Honey had called herself to come. And then you cut to another scene, and there's this announcer man, and he's like, "All right, the nominees for the best costume at the party
Not Honey."
And he lists all these people, and Honey is one of them, the host, and so is the cowboy. And you're like, what?
Uh-oh.
But the funny thing is that the cowboy gets no cheers. Everyone was like, yeah, yay, good costume. And then the cowboy gets up there and, like, it's totally silent, which is weird because they had to nominate him. and he sort of is like, hey.
Aww.
This is, I have to tell you some information about the cowboy, but I don't know when to tell you, because I don't know when we were supposed to have figured it out, as when you're watching the movie.
You could just tell us at the end.
Maybe.
If you do a plot run through and then...
No, it'll make more sense. It'll come naturally. Okay,
I'm already confused.
She opens the door, and there's this man, right? And we've already cut to this thing, so we cut back to the Honey and Inspector Trudeau, it's not Trudeau. I just remembered there's an extra letter.
Trudeau.
Oh no, it is Shurod. Shurod.
You have an interesting name problem. That's pretty different. What did you do to the last guy's name?
There's a final letter that's missing. And I'll see it in my notes later. I'll let you all know.
Oh my god.
But the problem is they say it like Shuro. They say it until the end. When I caught it, there's an extra letter. Anyways, so he opens the door and they're talking still, and she's like, "You're the same size, detective."
What?
Okay. The beginning was really trippy because you flash back and the honey and the cowboy are dancing through the room and she's explaining things about the party to the cowboy, who we now realize is the inspector. So the inspector is dressed up as a cowboy.
Okay.
And she's like, we have this whole plot. My husband was murdered a year ago today. You're gonna help me find him.
In the cowboy costume.
And the cowboy has been on the job for a year.
Wearing a dead man's costume?
What?
Keep going.
Okay. And she's like, everyone, as it was, as it is. That's the line. Then you cut to the cowboy, and there's a gazelle. I mentioned the gazelle earlier. They're talking, and so is Sherlock. Sherlock does drugs, characteristically. He's one of the people who's doing cocaine.
Traditionally, it is opium.
I know, but it's not in this case. So they're like, oh, you're wearing the cowboy costume. You know that the guy wearing the cowboy costume last year got murdered, right? And he says,
I guessed.
I did not know that. So then he goes and confronts Honey, and he says, what game are you playing? And why am I wearing this costume? Why did you pick me? I don't understand. And she says, don't you trust me?
No.
Don't you understand?
Absolutely not.
It's really weird, because there's obviously a romance that's developing between the two of them.
Oh. Isn't he a cop?
He is. It's very baffling.
Well, no, that's not what I meant. Okay.
She's like, so the costume, they have this conversation in a really weird room. It's borderline religious. There's 4 other people in the room.
What kind of religion?
Wearing, well, okay, so, I mean, religious in the cultic sense. There's 4 other people in the room wearing, almost identical costumes, but with different hairstyles. And there's obviously a shrine, and they're all a little weird.
So Greek or witches?
I don't have a clue. It was such a strange feature of the film. He says, why did you do this? Why am I wearing this? And she says, because you have to walk in his shoes so you understand. I literally fixed the costume that you're wearing that he wore last year.
This is sad.
You can see the knife wound where he was stabbed in the kitchen with a blunt kitchen knife and he died. And you're like, what? What's happening? Shoe rope.
It's like Clue.
It's with a P. Shoe rope.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it is like Clue, actually.
Okay.
Clue the movie. They do share some similarities there. Then the inspector goes back out to the party and finds the commissioner's there. And the commissioner actually scares him and says, what are you doing at this party? And he says, I was invited, I'm on the job, I'm helping this lady. And he says, don't believe anything she says, she's a liar.
That's concerning.
Like, what? And turns out he's the commissioner's dressed as basically Captain Hook, and his wife is a mermaid, which is very interesting.
That's not a healthy relationship.
Why? What? Okay. And it's a costume party.
Just based on the books.
Okay, so it's a costume party.
Peter Pan.
And so part of the party is that they're having the judging contest. And so now we go back to that scene where they were all who are the winners of the everybody voted to see what the best costume is. And sure enough, it's Honey and Shoe Rope. Yay! They win. And the winners.
What? Why did they win?
I don't know. The winners of this costume contest bob for apples. They compete bobbing for apples to see who can get the most apples. And this is also really weird. I don't know why this happens. They bob for apples, they tie, and it's actually Honey's birthday.
What?
We've discussed this previously, and she's like, you were supposed to let me win, man. And they have this flirty conversation, and it's fine. But then Sherlock Holmes shows up and does drugs in front of them, and they're like, well, that's that then. I'm gonna go freshen up because my face is wet because I was bobbing for apples at a costume party. I don't understand. It's really strange. Meanwhile, Shoe Rope comes out having freshened up again to see the commissioner talking to Honey, and he's confused, and then he walks up and the commissioner gets off and he waddles away, and then he sits down and he says, Honey, why is this happening, Honey? And then he starts berating her, and he says, "You lied to me about this costume, and it's not your birthday, I was told," by the commissioner told him it wasn't her birthday. And then, no, he doesn't say that yet. He's just accusing Honey of lying to him. And then, Charlie Chaplin, again, this is our second movie with a Charlie Chaplin call-out. Not Charlie Chaplin, someone dressed as Charlie Chaplin. Comes out of nowhere, hits him, and then they have a straight-up brawl where Honey's like, "Hey, stop that."
This doesn't put men in a very good light, does it?
Turns out Chaplin is a Nazi. You find that out in the conversation. What? He's got this German voice, and he talks about Fraulein, and he's got the mustache, so it's all implied.
What? This seems not kind to Germans.
What? No, it's not that it's not kind to Germans. It's not kind to Nazis. So Shoerope and the commissioner then have a whole brawl. No, they have a whole thing circling a pool table. It turns out the commissioner was talking to Honey about losing the costume contest because they've tried to win every year.
What?
And it didn't work. And then he says, "It's not her birthday, Shoerope. Tell her. To confront her." Then Shoerope gets drugged, and then he wakes up in the bed, and Honey is like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yes, but it's not your birthday." And she says, "How could you not trust me? My birth certificate is literally right over there." And it is her birthday, and he says, "Oh no, how could I have done this?" So he then runs to go, she leaves because she's upset. Then he goes running looking for her, and at this point, let's see, what am I looking for, Ruth? My thoughts have gone out my ears. Oh yes, this is the scene from the beginning. He's like, "Has anyone seen Honey?" He runs through, he goes outside, he gets beat up. Cue. He wakes up, he's tied up in a chair, and across from him are none other than the commissioner, Charlie Chaplin, and Sherlock Holmes. All of them are right there, and he's tied up. And they say, "You are going to help us." And he says, "What?" And he says, "You are going to help us." And then this really bizarre and hilarious scene happens where they're sitting in this room, and then this woman comes in, and she just like walks over to the fridge because they're in the kitchen. She walks over to the fridge, opens the fridge, gets out this milk, takes a drink, puts it back in, walks over to Shoerope, who's sitting in the chair, and just puts her arm on his shoulder. And she then tells this, she's French or something. She's foreign. She definitely seems French. And she says, "A long time ago I had a boyfriend, and he was my most beloved boyfriend, and we were so happy together. And one day I went to Paris to buy a coat, and he'd never seen me in a coat before, so I
feel like I'm witnessing a fever dream."
Do you see what I mean about how weird and trippy it is? And it's this really bizarre little thing. She leaves the room, everyone laughs. What? They're like, "That was weird." And then they say, "No, you're going to tell Honey to come back into the kitchen, and you're not, and you have to come back in the kitchen." And he says, "Why?" And then he figures out that they're planning to murder her, just like they murdered her husband last year.
Why?
He's the murderer. Here's the thing. Are you ready, Ruth? They're all Nazis. They want the house.
What?
Because the house is going to be the base for Hitler's operations in England when he takes it over.
What?
He needs a town.
What?
He needs a big house.
What?
in England, and this is the biggest house. And her husband signed the deed over to her before he died, so now they have to kill her too.
No.
Oh. Yeah. So that's that. And that is the true story. Hitler actually was trying to get a house in England that he was going to make his base of operations when he took England over.
Wow.
And I think that's the only thing that's based on a true story.
In the world.
Yes. Isn't that wild, though?
Yes.
So then,
it's not over.
Yeah, no. Oh, they call him Mr. Wayne, the cowboy Shoorop, instead of Shoorop, because they're like, we don't want people to know who you actually are. I just remembered the woman's, like, the last thing she says, the woman who comes in, she's like, and I said to him, what is wrong with woman? And then she just leaves the room. Anyways, so then he goes off. They let him go. They're like, you have to do this, and they let him go. Otherwise, we'll kill you and her and everyone else. And it's like a whole thing. And then you go and you see they're slow dancing together, and Shoorop is. It's weird because he doesn't just tell her what's going on. He sort of says, I have a birthday present for you, but she figures out what's going on. They're communicating using 2 levels or something. It's complicated. He says she's in danger, but he's gonna be there. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, and this is when it switches to the stage, okay? Imagine a hard floor kitchen with a single table in the middle and a camera that's just set back so it looks like a stage.
Yeah.
And the 3 conspirators are practicing the murder together.
Oh my gosh.
And so they turn off the lights, and then they say, okay, they're coming in now. And then he opens the lights, and the guy who's supposed to do the murder is stabbing, and they're, like, critiquing him on how to stab him. But the camera doesn't move. It's that one thing. They're like, when she comes in, you just stab her, and it's great. So they're practicing, and then they turn off all the lights, and it's, okay, they're coming. Open the door, and it's the gazelle, the woman who's the gazelle.
No.
And they're like, what? And Sherlock Holmes and the gazelle are friends. And she's like, I just came, and I was looking for somebody or something, and they're like, go away, why are you here? Go away. And she says, no, why are you so mean? Don't you know how to treat a lady? It's the 30s after all. It's not like we're uncivilized. It's just a very funny random statement. Anyways, and then she's like, well, at least let me have some drugs, she says to Sherlock, who has most of the drugs. And he's like, well, okay. And then this is when it becomes weirdly crucial. They all start to do drugs, Ruth, and this is such a wild scene because it's filmed different than the rest of the movie. It's filmed like the Three Stooges. So,
like the animated?
No, like the live action.
Okay.
Because it's sped up slightly as
There's
though
no animated. I heard Three Musketeers.
Oh, sorry. No, Stooges. So it's
Okay.
sped up slightly as though someone is cranking the wheel too fast. And they're doing bizarre things like playing musical chairs, getting on tables.
Yeah.
And they're just doing weird stuff, the 4 of them. And it's quicker and the screen is smaller. And meanwhile, Shoorop and the other lady are coming towards them. And they're in the hallway, and Shoorop turns to her and says, okay, we have to have a plan. I have a plan. Would you trust me? And she's like, okay, we'll do it. So they go, and cue the whole scene. They're doing, it's chaos, right? The drugs are happening, and then someone starts to open the door, and they all, and they all try to get themselves prepared or whatever. It's not working, and they open the door, and Shoorop comes in, but he's wearing her dress, and she's wearing his clothes. Because his big idea was that they just switch clothes. So this really climactic scene happens, and Shoorop is wearing a bee dress the whole time. And it's so off-putting. Usually I just don't know what it is about it, but the dress on him is particularly bizarre looking. It was so disconcerting. I just kept thinking, that just doesn't look comfortable, sir. What you're wearing just doesn't look comfortable. It was
probably too small for him.
No, it was too large.
What? So it's a different dress.
It must have been, Ruth. Do you understand? It was weird. Oh my goodness. So then Tatiana is the name of the gazelle. The conspirators they start saying, they're going to kill you, and Shurop, which I just realized is a very interesting, considering the other guy's name is Sherlock and Shurop. So he's got a gun. Shurop has a gun, and the gazelle is like, where do I go? And Honey's like, just come over here behind Shurop. We'll hide over here. And so they're pointing this gun, and this whole thing, they have a conversation, and then Honey says, actually, it's okay, Shurop. I'll just let me ask for my demands. And she says, okay. And then she says, Charlie Chaplin, whose name I don't remember, we were calling him Charlie Chaplin. I'll turn myself over and give you everything. I am madly in love with you, and all I want is a single kiss, and then we could get married, and you could have the house.
What?
And
what?
He says they get really close, and he says, yes, I'll kiss you, but I'm not going to marry you. And
what?
She's like, you're my fjord. And
what?
He says, no, we're not gonna do that. And so I missed a crucial thing in this part of the story, but that's okay. And then as they kiss, in the middle of the room there was this handle that was like hanging from the ceiling by strings. And she pulls it, and bees come out from this basket.
What?
And everyone runs out of the room, and the bees attack the three of them. And they've won. Effectively, this is their victory. She keeps bees in honor of her late husband. They come up maybe twice before this. He loved bees. And she keeps them in the kitchen, apparently.
Okay.
So they win! And of course, what song do they play during the bee attack? Obviously.
Flight of the Bumblebees?
Yeah.
Yes! That is not that song.
Isn't it? Right? Isn't that Flight of the Bumblebee?
I mean...
Did they play it on strings?
Yeah.
Okay. So the good guys get out. But here's the thing. Honey knew the whole time that they were the bad guys. She needed confirmation, and she needed to corner them. And Shurop is a little upset, but not really. And there was something in the deal earlier where they were like, and part of the deal was that they were gonna have to kiss later on. Haha. But then it was time, and then the gazelle is like, so are you saying everything's done now? And then it was kind of funny because they kiss both of her cheeks. One on one side, one on the other. And instead of kissing each other, it's like a sign of affection for the gazelle, Tatiana, who by the end you kind of like her, but it's...
Her name is Tatiana?
Tatiana the gazelle, yeah.
Is that a Shakespeare reference?
That's Titania.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's the last scene where I think it might be a year later. I couldn't really figure out, but they're obviously together now. And it's a year later, and it's happily ever after. The bad guys have gone to prison. They get their mugshots. You see something like that. And that's the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. They have some fun little dialogue about ending with bees make honey. Didn't you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there's interesting gender commentary throughout it.
That's probably true. Yeah. Why do you say that?
The girl in the middle who has the speech reminds me of the girl in Brothers Karamazov.
Which one?
The one who tells the story about the onion.
Oh, the onion girl. Yeah, where she's... Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
She says something like, no, I couldn't even give an onion, or all I wanted to give was an onion. And
and it sounds like the middle of the story, and it's like, this could be insane, but you're saying things that are really important to you, right?
It's actually mostly that conversation ends with something about her boyfriend ending up naked.
I want to watch this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you might enjoy it. But I totally forgot to mention that throughout the film, there are random... You know when you normally have a flashback sequence in... So pretend you had a superhero movie where every time you met a superhero, you had a flashback sequence to just a little bit of their backstory where it's like, here's him beating up Godzilla! Pew, pew! Okay, so there's like probably 5 or 6 of those for different characters that you meet. And that's when the screen changes size, gets smaller again.
Okay.
And one of them has to do with how Hitler is really bad at flirting.
What?
And it's just this really, really bizarre scene where there's these women all talking in German at this table, and they're just, having a good time. And Hitler is then in the corner drinking, like, a lot. And then this other guy, like, nudges him and is like, hey, look at the girls. And then Hitler tries to flirt with them from a distance, but it involves, like, shouting and, like, flinging beer in the air and, like, sticking his tongue out, and all of the women are like, what is going on? And they go away, and then this was uninteresting and bizarre. But that just is a random scene in the middle.
What?
That just happened when someone had a flashback. They say something, and they're like, now look at this past thing. And it happens again somewhere else, and they say, now look at this past thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, based on a true story, guys.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
so that's fun. Bees Make Honey. It's wild. It is like I said, Halloween movie. Could be fun.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Okay. Cool. Like I did say, little profane at times, but mostly okay.
Totally forgot about that.
I know.
Your setup did not give me the vibe of this movie at all.
Right?
That's really unfortunate. Now that I think about it.
I don't know why. It's because it doesn't.
Keyword fever dream.
Keyword fever dream. Okay, yeah, definitely. All right, folks. That's been it for this week. Should we close with a song?
Someone help.
This has been Lost in Theaters. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that you'll keep listening, and you can follow us on Twitter. We have a YouTube channel with some of our videos, like some of the short versions of our podcasts up. We can be listened to where many podcasts can be listened to, including Apple Podcasts, which if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review so that more people can know about us, and subscribe on whatever thing you're listening to, and we stay tuned, folks, and thanks so much for listening.
Good. That's all, folks.
That's great. Okay, bye.